Hey, Slàinté, y'all. Welcome to Tuesday night. Um, we'll see what kind of show we're gonna have. We'll see what kind of voice I still have after incessant, nonstop talking and a little bit of drinking over the last week while I was in Glasgow. So yes, got back at 12:30 this morning. So I have not been home for 24 hours yet. I certainly have not caught up on my sleep. Because didn't sleep a whole lot on the plane, but boy, did was it another amazing adventure in Scotland. It just unreal. Uh the time that all that I packed in that week is truly amazing. We're just going to hit the highlights tonight. I was scrambling trying to download pictures just so I could show you something tonight, instead of just talking your ear off for as long as my voice will last. But yeah, just my face still hurts, y'all. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Want to say hey to everybody in. Kathy's doing a quick shout. Not able to stick around. That's no problem, friend. Thanks for popping in, and catch the replay because it's going to have some really fun stuff, and some hints as to what's coming in the channel, with the channel, with what all I was able to capture on this trip. Is really a lot of fun. And see, my molasses is here. Hey, and yes, I'm feeling it with you, Andrew. I feel like it is 2 a.m. right now in like my head, my clock in my head. So we'll hang in there together, friend, and I hope you're doing well. Had a couple of good Dornoch Castle and Thompson Brother uh drams, and I thought about you on those. So we'll chat a little bit more about that. Kevin's in. Hey, friend. I dare say you would have lost your mind. And don't fake about it. I did not have a Klein leash. I don't think the whole time I was there, which was amazing. But yeah, some really spectacular drams for sure. Um, yeah, well, we'll get that second. Hey, Trooper, good to see you. Yes, absolutely had a blast. So much fun. Crazy, crazy. Do I have any lingering jet lag? Yes, a little bit. I think I'm just tired right now because I did not stop. I finally on Friday kind of took the morning off and said, getting into the weekend of the pregame Friday night, the big events on Saturday, and then Sunday, I needed a little bit of downtime, and I took that. But traveling for 26 hours, basically the time I was awake, you never get any rest on a plane, right? So, but as far as a whiskey lag, yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that too. But what I loved about this whole week and weekend was there was a lot of drams going around, a lot of whiskey, and nobody was that person. Everything was in check and everything was very respectable. And after some of the ones I've been to, I think it's a perfect example. The Glasgow Whisky Festival is a perfect example of an absolutely well organized, planned out, and executed whiskey festival. Yeah, super thanks. Can't say enough about it. Let's see who else is in. Hey, Stacey. I almost stayed in Dublin a little bit longer than I thought I was going to. Met a lovely couple from there. So we have lots to talk about too offline. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Pete had, oh, Frank, you were there. You were there in spirit. I know, and thank you. I know you're well into the middle of your night. But yeah, watch the replay. But just know you were terribly there in spirit. We talked about you, as we say in the South. I'm sure your ears were burning because we were talking about you, but it was all good, Frank. I promise, honest, it was all really good. Wish you were there maybe another time. This guy was an MVP of the week, y'all. I cannot say enough. I did make it home very early. um, this is your first dry night of the week. I believe it. Because there's no way you could do a dry night last week. No way. But yeah, Graham Fraser was Mr. MVP, or Yoda, as I called him, because the man knows so much and shares so much about whiskey. Thank you, friend, for everything you did. I cannot thank you enough. Hey, Martin, good to see you. Um, Sanja, y'all too. Sanja, y'all. Um, Golly, yeah, lots of fun. Hey, Chuck's in Malt Minion, yay! Yes, Mark was very proud and very thankful you took good care of me, Graham. You never knows what his wife's going to get into when she goes like does her little trips and stuff. But yeah, it was spectacular. And I'm gonna crack open a bottle here. Um, that was gifted to me from the man himself, from Graham Fraser. This is Old Perth, and it is a blended malt Scotch whiskey. And if you want to pipe in on any other information about it, Graham, but this is a PX. Oof, oof, y'all, look at that. Look at that. At 56.2, huh? Yeah, just look at that. 56 blended malt. So what's that mean? That means it came from a couple of distilleries, right? But a malt. So 100% malt. Um, Bottle wise, so this summer we came home with 17 bottles and 80 samples. I didn't really have that many samples. I thought I took empty bottles to the festival with me, thinking I was gonna, have some and then I would just pour it in a little bottle and but really, thankfully and responsibly, the pours at the festival were just that, they were tastes. They were a taste. So it really didn't, I just needed to have either taste it and ditch it, or I don't think I ditched but one. Um, yeah, during the festival itself, but not really anything to bring back sample wise. I have a couple of samples folks gave me, but I did come home with 6 bottles. Um, so I as tired as I am, we did a very quick unpacking video that I'll put together. I'll pop it out for the members, for the Camp Drammers first, so you all can see what all as it came out of the suitcase. I took a little suitcase, a little carry on, and it's all that I brought back. And I had a backpack, and that mostly had my film equipment, camera equipment stuff, and because that was going to get me to um, just buy, enough bottles that would only fit in that, right? I think there was at least 3 different times I thought maybe I need to go buy TK Maxx, and because it's called TK Maxx, not TJ Maxx there, and find another suitcase. I came really close, but I was a good girl. I was a very good girl, and I only came home with 6. So, but yeah, isn't this all right? You ready? Let's get a good. Let's get a good. I hope that sounded as good for y'all as it did for me. So, Graham and I, and we'll get to it, but Graham and I went to Deanston, and so I'm going to pour this in my Deanston. Hopefully, oh, this looks so good. Yeah. Mm. So let me know what y'all are drinking this evening. Just look at that. Oh, oh, it's so pretty. So, no age statement on it. Limited edition. 56.2. I'll have to see again. So Graham, yeah, let me know about the Old Perth if there's anything else I need to know about that for sure. Goodness gracious. Hey, Chad, good to see you, friend. Um, awesome. So I have to have a sip. Wow. That is everything you would expect in a PX, but not too heavy. It's very light. And I get a lot of citrus on this too. Yeah, we're going to play with that because I got to tell you, this is going to be my one and done. My liver, you know, needs a little rest, needs a little breath. And I have to go get my annual blood work done probably in the next 2 weeks. So might want to let the liver enzymes get back to where they're supposed to be before I have to go do that. But so yeah, getting in, flew out Friday, took all day to get there, get up really early Saturday, got there and kind of hit it as soon as I got there and got dumped my baggage and everything off at the hotel. And this hotel is called Native Glasgow. It is literally 2 doors down in the 1 block away from George Square, which I think I was there 4 days before I quit calling it St. George Square. It's just George Square. Right in the center on St. Vincent. It's kind of like a corporate apartment. But yeah, just really, really neat place to center the area and to be able to go. This is the most I've spent in Glasgow. Usually I get in and get out and go to the Highlands or the West or, Isla or something like that. But while being there, knowing the next weekend, this past weekend was going to be the festival, I wanted to just have a home base and not worry about, moving all of the stuff, just have a home base. Just had a kitchenette. I was able to make breakfasts. I just like camped out literally there, So that really worked out. Yeah. So, okay. So back to this dram. We'll get there in a second. Graham says that the Old Perth comes from another part of the Morrison family, and release the Carnmore whiskeys. They also have a new distillery called Aberaghy. Aberaghy. So is that the same Morrison as that owns Clydeside? Tim Morrison? Or is that like Morrison's the grocery store? Or not even that one? There's so much to this. Interesting. Okay. Oh. So yeah, so I get in, dump my stuff, go out, have breakfast, kind of enjoy the time. And that Saturday was the Oswas. So I just kind of just went around the city, enjoyed the city a little bit, did some shopping and that kind of fun just to get ready for the week. And watched the Oswas. And then I don't have them. I'll post them on socials. Because Roy sent them to me a while ago, but I can't get them uploaded to the computer in time. But after the Oswas were over, and as you know, the Oswas are the online Scotch Whisky Awards, and they were hosted by Ralphie and Roy. So they were in studio and had some great cameos of different people who helped nominate this year, and they announced all the winners. And if you haven't watched that show, go back, go through the Oswas, kind of figure out like if you participated, if you voted, where did your vote, like were you close? Did your favorite win? That kind of stuff. Because it's one thing for, the overall votes, and then there's the People's Choice Awards, which I think is a great way to look at it, because there's so many when you look at the analytics, which Roy gets into, and I love that, how many kind of difference of opinion some of the People's Choice Awards had. So go back and watch the Oswas if you haven't already. And then, maybe go find that special different kind of bottle that you might not have thought about, or somebody may have a sample of it, something like that. Try something new that you might find out of the Oswas. So after that, it's like 10:30. I guess, at night. And Roy's like, up for a dram. And I'm like, I'm smooth as worn out. I'm like, you bet I am. So I ended up meeting Roy and Ralphie at the Bon Accord, because of course I'm going to meet them there. And we were able to have a great evening and have drams and visit. Ralphie is absolutely delightful. He's exactly as you see him in his reviews, just as I have really encountered everybody who does this. And there were quite a few YouTubers that were there this weekend, and they're all really great people. I'm happy to report. Not that I would say anything else, but they really are nice people. Rafi was an absolute delight. And so, yeah, I was really enjoyed getting to see him. And anytime I can see my buddy Roy, it was a great day. So I'll post those on socials. If you aren't part of Roy's aquavitae barflies page on Facebook, that's got a ton of content right now on how wonderful that whole weekend was, for sure. But yeah, okay. So Graham is saying that it's his brother. Okay, so it's Tim's brother. So that kind of brings me up to the next thing I wanted to show is so on Monday, well, Sunday was my birthday. So I went out with my friend Caitlin and another one of her friends, and we did a brunch and a movie. We went to go see the Taylor Swift movie, and it was so much fun. And they have this celebration on the 5th of November, my birthday, that is Guy Fawkes Day. And they had fireworks, and I claimed them for my birthday. So yeah, very nice birthday. And big time appreciation to Caitlin and her friend Leanne, two Leannes and a Caitlin. Um, I've never experienced helping polish off a bottle of wine in a movie theater ever, but I did in Scotland. So Sandra, y'all to that. That is the way they do it in Scotland. You just take your own bottle of wine and enjoy. um, so Monday, I hit the ground running, and one of the things I wanted to do, I'd not had time to look at any of the Glasgow based distillery. So Octoshan I haven't been to, Glasgow 1770 I haven't been to, Glengoyne, yes, a couple years ago, but it's a little bit. It's a bus trip away. But this, y'all, this is Clydeside. This is the new Clydeside Distillery, and the River Clyde goes right through the middle of Glasgow. Big shipping area, way back in the day. Finding out, even through the tour I took, that ships from the West, ships from, for the Virginias and the East Coast of the United States, took 25 days less to get to Glasgow than they did to get to London. So Glasgow was a huge port city, and it would come into the western side of Scotland and go through the river to Glasgow. And this building, and I've got a lot of B-roll. We're going to do a whole thing on Clydeside, but I have a lot of that on my GoPro. Was the old pump house that would move a bridge from the mainland to an island that was used to disembark cargo. So the shipping would come up the river, as you can see back behind these stills. I swear, I think every time people are building a new distillery, there's some bet of we're going to have the prettiest still house. We're going to have the prettiest still house, because Rasse is like that. Ardnahoe's like that. Wait till you see the next one, Port-a-Leith. It's just like this particular type of contest on who can have the prettiest still house. So absolutely just phenomenally gorgeous. And I wanted to throw this back over here. So what I got there, and like I said, we'll talk more later about it, but here's the next bottle I got. And that was it's the 2023 limited edition Cast Strength by Clydeside. And so their core range is called Stop Cross, which is the name of the street that they're on. But what I wanted to show you is I got to meet Alistair Donald, the distillery manager, along with Tim Morrison, which is why I was asking Graham about the Morrisons. He is the chairman of the board. He owns Clydeside. His family had owned Bamore, Glengarry, Akatoshan, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's 80 Rattray or Rattray, however, the independent bottling company. And they were just absolutely fabulous. Alistair took a small group of us in the back. I always love those little trips in the back. And they started pulling a couple of samples out of 2 octaves that they had. And they were 1 year and 2 months, and it could have passed for whiskey. Lovely, lovely flavor, just fabulous. But yeah, so this is the Clydeside cast strength. And when I met these 2 gentlemen, Mr. Morris signed it here, and then Alistair signed it there. So I got the people responsible for this to be able to sign the bottle. And I thought that was really, really cool. It was very sweet of them to do that for me and to take us back. And evidently my accent was a big hit as Mr. Morrison, which is fantastic. Look at all the folks that popped in. Hey, Ian, great to see you. Absolutely phenomenal time. Just really great time. Lots and lots of fun. I think I texted Mark a couple of times, like, my face really does hurt. And y'all may just see, way too many selfies. Well, here's that picture I was gonna have. That showed you the bottle I just showed you, but way too many selfies. And it's funny because when you start looking at it, of all these selfies, and you're at a whiskey festival, that's what everybody wanted to do. What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Well, this is what I'm having. Okay, let's do a selfie. I mean, everybody was taking pictures of bottles, taking pictures of people. And when I go back and look at my camera roll, it's people, 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 bottle, people, 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 bottle. And there's a reason for that, right? Because that whiskey tastes really good because of all those people there. All those wonderful people. Goodness. I'm very, I chastise sweetly Graham for being up all the time. And he did tell me he was a night owl. So I'm thankful for that. Let's see. Oh yes, Virgine, your friend Virgine. We met her at the actual festival. I didn't get to see her at Clydeside, but Clydeside is well worth dipping into. If you're on a whiskey trip, you go into Glasgow. It's very well. If you take the double decker red bus, the sightseeing bus, there's a stop there even. So yeah, the ones you can hop on and hop off. Great deal. Absolutely. Great deal. Yeah. So, hey Donald, good to see you. Thanks for being in. So from there, that was Monday. Tuesday was the big event, one of the biggest events, I would say, the big event for the week, which was Leanne got on a train for the first time. I don't count a subway, a real train. Thanks to the superb guidance of Graham Fraser, and made my way. And that's the location I was at. I was telling you about where I stayed, 1 block from Queen Street train station. Easy. I just went 1 block and I got on a train and went to Sterling to see Graham. Wednesday, Thursday, I got on a train then to go to Edinburgh, and could not have been easier, could not have been more economical to sit back, look at the beautiful scenic, trip, and not have to worry about driving, get off, and everything else was walkable. So hands down to that. I did when I was buying my train ticket, I asked Graham if I needed standard or first class because I didn't want to sit with the sheep. So I had no context. It's all passenger, no sheep allowed on these. So yes, Tuesday was going to gorgeous, absolutely stunning Sterling. Sterling is beautiful. I can't tell you enough. The other thing I want to note is that I brought the sunshine yet once again. The summer, it was absolutely gorgeous the whole time we were here. This week, it was gorgeous the whole time I'm here. Back me up, Graham. The minute I leave, this hellacious storm comes in. One that almost I did not get out of Dublin for. And evidently I brought Scotland back because we're finally getting cool weather and rain here in Louisiana. So, but this is just a walk up, and yes, it's hilly for a flatlander. That was a chore, but it was well done and well worth it because Sterling is absolutely breathtaking. Just looking and walking around here, going up to the top. Yes, it's a cemetery, just a very cool. I don't know about y'all. It's something that we do in the South. We go and look at cemeteries and look at the old grave markers and all. But this was one in particular that was so interesting and unique, and a rather different story. Graham was an unreal guide and just showed me his town, showed me his city with great encouragement and pride, as he well should. And it was just beautiful. So then we got on a bus after we had breakfast. We got on a bus and we went up to Callendar, and Callendar was just up past Doon. So Doon is where Doon Castle is. If you're an Outlander fan, the kitchen at Doon Castle was reproduced to be the kitchen in the early versions of Outlander. If you're a Monty Python fan, it's the setting of the vicious white rabbit in the Holy Grail movie. So fun there. So past Doon, you get to Callendar. And this is two absolutely vivacious, wonderful young women are Jen on the left, in the pink is Rachel. And of course, that is the Graham Fraser that you all have seen and listened to, here everywhere. But yeah, so we went to their whiskey shop, the Grail, and which I think is kind of funny considering the Holy Grail at Doon Castle. But anyway, had some great drams there. I tried a few things with them. They had just finished the Sterling Whisky Festival that weekend, so they were still reworking everything. And if you have not listened to them, so they have a YouTube channel too called Grail Tastings. Look for them, and I'll put links to all of these people in the comments. Well, actually, in the description for this video. But also make sure you check out Dramface podcast because they are on with Roy, Scott Monroe, Gregor, Time for a Dram, and they're a riot. Rachel and I could get in so much trouble. Somebody would probably have to get bail money. I'm just saying. But yeah, they were just absolutely delightful folks. And really, really was so glad I got to see them. I knew they were coming to the festival, but it ended up where I didn't even get to see them at the festival. It was pretty busy and there were multiple rooms and just passing ships and all that kind of stuff. Yep. Love it, love it, love it. See, I'm not the only one. Sometimes if you're really poor in the South, you went to the cemetery and had a picnic. And you went and visited your old relatives there, I was getting warm. I'm not going to lie, for Southern girls kind of hoofing it to get it up get that out. Yes, everywhere I go, I bring that weather with you. So anytime y'all want a heat wave, give me a call. I'll come back. For sure. So you were asking Nate, great question. If I saved the whiskey boxes, trying to find the best way to conserve space. When I was coming back with one, One of these bottles has an odd shaped box, and I took it out and kind of flattened it because I did want to keep the box. But for the most part, I do ditch them, unless it's something particularly special I want to keep. And I even have, like, for this container, I have I have a, which I'm gonna do on this one for sure, because that's perfect to cut it right there. Is I will cut them down and then make a container to put my Glencairn to travel in. So there's a whole video out there, Nate, about that I did. Um, but if I have backups, I'll probably keep them in the box. But most of them are just bottles because I kind of want to see the color. But it's totally up to you. But I understand about the space problem because that can happen. Shipping them, like coming over with them, I wanted as much packaging as I could fit, just to make sure I kept the bottle as safe as possible while it was en route. Because I was on 3 planes from Glasgow to Dublin, Dublin to, was supposed to be Dulles, but ended up Newark, and then Newark to New Orleans. So my bag got around for sure. But yeah, thanks for asking that question. That's perfect. Please leave the humidity behind. Yeah, no problem. I will do that. I will do that. So yeah, so after calendar, we went to a place that I've been wanting to go to. Anybody know where this is from? An open mash tun. Not too many distilleries still have these. Any thoughts? Any guesses? Most of y'all know where this is because I've been talking about it and wanting to go for so long. If you know my buddy Drew from Scotch for Dummies, this is Mecca, probably for him. But yeah, this is Deanston. So we got to go to Deanston, and they were doing some construction, and we were afraid. At first, we weren't going to be able to go and tour. Part of what Graham had set up was amazing, and he kind of said, well, he was pleasantly persistent, is what I would like to say, and said, oh, it would be so nice if we could see something, and ended up having a fabulous tour by the new distillery manager, and yeah, Murray Kerr is his name, looking at these gorgeous stills. So they were in kind of a maintenance era, so they weren't producing right away. And if you take a look, what's interesting to you about these stills, you look at the color of them. They were polishing the bottom of them. So a guy was over here on this far one. So you can see the mash tun over here. And he had been working on this one. They haven't gotten up to the reflux bulb or the necks, but the pot, they had all started cleaning them and shining them up again. Isn't that crazy? The difference in color. So color. Yeah, awesome. So this is a good one. I believe it, Andrew. I believe you've got up to 8 high, keeping them in their boxes and tubes so that you can stack them. Just making sure they're not in an area where they can tussle. That's for sure. Yeah, take a train the next time and take your time and enjoy the scenery. Michael, absolutely. I'm so happy. I think Grandma's getting a kick out of me as I was taking B-roll out the window of not only the train but the bus on the way to Calendar, through Dune and to Deanston. Just being able to see that was, and the light was just right. The sun was doing some really nice things, so I'm excited about that. And Graham saying, the distilleries are starting to discard the boxes and tubes. They are. Bruichlotti's worked on that. Bruichladdich went metal for a long time, to for recycling purposes too. Neckyen is another one, and are good for clear glasses. Yep. So the clear glass, his point there is, if you have any kind of sun exposure to your bottles. Clear glass as opposed to a dark glass that we won't talk about. I'll talk about this bottle in a minute, but a clear glass would allow, of course, more light. So just being careful of that is important. I really like this Old Perth, Graham. This is wonderful. Thank you. I'm surprised at how light it is, but really robust, like rich. I'm going to put a scooch of water in it. Probably more than that. So yeah, Deanston was amazing. And you know, this is my face. This is face of happiness, people. This is the face of the happiness when you are in a warehouse tasting and you drop a copper dog ever so gingerly down in the bottom of a cask and let it tip over, and you hear this gurgle that any other time you would think that you might not feel good, but it's that go 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 go, and it's just that filling up, and you pull that thing up, and yes, you've got this copper dog full of beautiful, gorgeous whiskey to share with everybody around, and that's exactly what we did. And Graham captured this, picture that I put on Facebook, thanking everybody for all the well wishes for my birthday, and it's like, this is my face. This I'm having a good birthday. Everything is awesome, yeah, just really, really fun. A really wonderful time. And then we make it to the Curly Coo pub with his friend Maddie there, poured us some really beautiful drams. I had my first lag, the inaugural release we had there. We had another Dornoch Castle cask, single cask. I had a Kelpie. Where's Jen? I had another Kelpie. Yeah, we had some beautiful drams. And of all the juke joints in the world, this woman walks in and come to find out, she's been living in Norway for 27 years, but she was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And the whole idea that we had two women in there from Baton Rouge was absolutely hilarious. So, Graham, again, cannot thank you enough for the spectacular day that we had. Got back on the train, made it back, walked half a block, and I'm back where I'm supposed to be. Just an amazing time. Again, the smile on my face, people. Yeah, so much fun. So much fun. Just really, really enjoyed it. Oh, here, one more. Sorry, one more. This is Murray, the distillery manager at Deanston now. So we had the high vis vest. We were trying, I don't know who would have stolen it first, me or Graham would have probably copped one of those that had Deanston on. Ours were just plain, but we really did want to just like grab that. But yeah. So you first had your Perpetuum and the first Octomore at the Curly Coo. Is a cool place. That's a place that's the cheers kind of place where everybody knows your name and you're just one of the family, fantastic. And here I was thinking I was going to be too tired to go an hour, and we're almost there now. So I'm going to run through these other real quick ones. So Tuesday, that was all Tuesday. Wednesday, get on the train again. This time I go to Edinburgh. So 45, 15 minute train ride. Just sit back. They had like little tables and, seating areas. Super easy with the commuters. And I went back to a distillery that I went to in the summer. And I got to meet this young man who is Callum Ray. I think he might go by West, but for the most part, his name is Callum. He is a distillery manager at Holyrood, the distillery that is just at the bottom of Arthur's Seat. I think I have a picture of that here. Yep. So here's the distillery, and then over here, this right here, this is Arthur's seat. I know it's a really low, kind of odd angle, but we did an interview. So I'm really excited about putting that particular video will be coming out about Holyrood. Their very first whiskey is now available. If you can find it, I think the only place that has it really is at the distillery. So this is Arrival. This is their first inaugural release, which is redundant, but you know what I mean. I'm tired. The hourglass, there's all kinds of little Easter eggs about this bottling, about the label, about the reason it's shaped this way, the color. Edinburgh was known for their brewing and beer making, and so that's kind of an homage to the overall brew making. And so yeah, so that I'm excited to talk more about in the coming days, weeks, and all that kind of fun stuff. Oh, I missed a bottle. Back at the Grail, I got this one. So if you caught Roy's show too a couple weeks ago, he talked about this. This is Tor. This is Billy Walker's peated expression from Glenallachie. So this is the Chinkapin oak. So it's like a virgin of Chinkapin. It's an American oak that's real big in Missouri, particular, I know. So that is one of the other bottles. So Clydeside, the Gifted Old Perth, Arrival, Tor. What else? Ah, yes, that. Okay, so that was going to Holyrood, and then I went over to Port of Leith. This is a brand spanking new distillery. Gregor's in. Hey, just off the plane. Goodness. Hope you're yeah. Something like, oh, I'm just off the plane. Yes, I am. I'm that tired. Sorry, y'all. I'm usually a little quicker on the uptake, but not today, y'all. I'm like, oof. Oh, you did. Andrew got his Arrival from Royal Mile Whiskies. Hopefully they still got some. I had a taste. I enjoyed it. It's new whiskey. It's baby whiskey, but I want to do a full review on it later when we're putting that other when we put the interview together. So yeah, so Port of Leith. So if you look at the map of Edinburgh, and the Firth, I think, is what comes in there, and Leith is a port city. So, I mean, it's got a lot of different shipbuilding and, things that a port does. But the biggest thing it has is the Britannia, so it's got the yacht for the royals right there. And as far as getting there from Center City, from the Princess Street and Waverly Station, there's a tram, and you just take it to the Ocean Terminal, which is the terminal there at Port of Leith. But the story behind the guys that decided to do this kind of crazy vertical distillery. I mean, the maltings are on the first top floor, the 8th floor of this thing, and it all goes down one way or the other from there. Quite lofty in many ways. It's going to be very interesting to see how this works. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. So back to this competition of the best view for still houses. This one ain't shabby. This is not shabby at all. And this is about as good as I could get it with the bright light from behind as far as the camera goes. But just seeing out on the water, the Britannia is to the due left of the wash still there. And It's absolutely gorgeous, and had a pretty day. Um, Ships are going by. It's really it's really, really something. Oh goodness. Um, yes, I heard that we missed Billy Walker at the festival. Uh, he was at second session. We were at the first session, but you know what? That's okay. We had a lot of fun. I'll catch Billy at some other time. Hopefully at some other time. But yeah, Port Elise is absolutely gorgeous. Um, Logistically, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to get their malt in that. The way that I know, I mean, there's a road there, there's a service road, but there's not even a road you drive up and you stop in front of the distillery. You kind of are let off at the end of a road. I almost got into an argument with the Uber driver. I'm like, I don't even see the distillery. It's around the corner. And I'm like, again, you got to walk, which it's okay. I can walk, but it's still kind of interesting. And when you get up there, there's a huge neon sign that says, "Thank goodness you made it." It's like, well, no joke. I'm really glad I made it too. Um, yeah, the Port Elise is all about gravity. I mean, the malting's at the top and it just keeps going down and down and down. But getting malt in, and they're still trying to decide where to put their new make. They're not producing yet. That's the other part. They're producing at another distillery, but they're not producing yet at Port Elise. So talk more about that. Took some very, very interesting video there. Great tour. Really nice, beautiful place to have lunch, and the cocktail bar. The bar has some beautiful offerings, and even Graham was telling me that they went out and sought after older bottlings of things to have a really broad range of offerings at their bar. Mm. Wouldn't it be fun to have some cask mature on the Royal Yacht? Also the buses around, yeah, they're so easy. The bus service, once you get the hang of it, I will say, for those of us who aren't real savvy with mass transit, even taking a bus in a big city like Chicago or New York could be pretty intimidating. But now with the tap and pay, you just you get a pretty good idea. You can have an app. You can even do Google Maps from one place to the other and hit the bus icon, and it will tell you which bus to go on. So that was one of the other things I worked on while I was there, is videoing elements on the series I'm going to do on how to plan your whiskey trip to Scotland. And transportation is a really big part of that. And I wanted to make sure people kind of knew what their options are, because your transportation will dictate where you can get to. That's for sure. Absolutely sure. Did I try the white port? The white port at at Port Elise. We had a port, but it was a tawny port, the one I had. So I don't think so, friend. I don't think so. Yeah, just really, really pretty spaces. So that was Wednesday. Thursday, I went back to Edinburgh. It was kind of a lighter day, and you all know I have absolutely adore Rassay, Isle of Rassay, Alistair Day, everything he's doing there. So excited. Was hoping he was going to be in town, but thankfully he was not, because he was with his lovely wife and they were in Australia having a little bit of work, but mostly fun. And so good on him. But he was so gracious to set up a time for me to meet Lucy and Scott. And I got to go to the headquarters for Rassay R&B Distillers in Edinburgh, and got to try some new things that are being released. One of which is I know the UK can get it pretty regularly, but it is the Quercus Humboldti, which is a Colombian oak, and that would be the one on the right that's half gone. It's half gone for a reason. Got a very different taste to it, but really enjoyed it. I believe this one in the middle is the standard that they have, but cast strength version, and then this in the um, reverse type, if you will. It's the burgundy purple with the gold lettering. That is the new Duncana, which is, I believe, a sherry release. But yeah, so this will be coming to the States. The far left will be coming to the United States. I think they're about shipping it anytime now. But yeah, so exciting, beautiful tasting room that they have there. Um, their staff was amazing. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah, so that was this is the so it is that Quercus. I always butcher this word. The Quercus Humboldti. Yeah, Quercus Humboldti. And this one comes in at 50.7. And this was their bottling to celebrate the Scottish Whisky Distillery of the Year for 2022. So that's what that one was. The Dune Cannon that you saw that was the burgundy label, and that one is their first of a special release that they're going to be doing every year. So, yep, those are the bottles, except for one more. And this is one that Peter Lee went and snagged for me when he knew I was I wanted it, because I've been a fan of the early versions of this, and I wanted to get this one for sure because this is not something we get. And that is the Kuboken 15, or just beautiful, smoky, sherry, yum, gorgeous. I'm super stoked. I want a good cold snap to hit South Louisiana, and then that one's cracked open for sure. Yeah. This is very generous of you, my friend, very to offer any advice about getting around Scotland. I'm going to pick your brain some more. I'm going through everything, but yeah, I will definitely be picking your brain about that for sure. Um, uh, Ian's talking about having grown up in the sticks, living northeast Aberdeenshire, and the sticks there. You relied on the bus service. It didn't connect timely well, but trains to Peterhead, such. Yeah. Graham was telling me about how many trains there had been, like especially in the 60s, and then kind of the 80s, they just pulled back on so many of their routes. So that's kind of crazy. Wow. Ow. Kyle hit a fire sale, y'all. Oh man. $39 for a Lagavulin 8. I would really happy that you did buy that. Mike Highfield, you have no many how many times have I thought about you in Caboken? If you don't have any of this, friend, I'll make sure you get some for sure. But yeah, so I was pretty stoked about that. And we're gonna run a little late here, y'all, just because I have truly saved the best for last in all things, and it still includes Graham through all of this, as you will see. Yeah, that Caboken 15, that was the heavy hitter. It was on sale. Peter Lee was so sweet enough to give. If you don't know Peter, he is a big barfly, absolutely lovely person. He's a chef, and I gave him Cajun seasoning as part of his thank you gift. It's a 2023, Gregor. Yeah, it's not last year's, it's this year's version. So yeah, super excited about that. So that brings us to Thursday. Friday was pregame. Pregame was Graham hosting a few friends at SMW and visiting with them and getting to know people from all over. We had some Aussies there. We had some Scots there. We had, Loud American there. Tom, Whiskey and Wine Trails. Guys, he's always on, and he's still there. He's still there. I got to meet Tom. And again, we're going to go with all the selfies here, right? Because this is what it was all about. It was all the smiling faces. Yes, there were lots of bottles, but it was all about the smiling faces. And it was just so fabulous. So this is at the Pot Still after um, our time at SMWS. And man, it was hot, it was packed, but it was awesome. These two guys, do y'all know who these guys are? Of course, it's Ben from No Nonsense Whiskey and Jeff Whiskey. So they were there. Some of the other YouTubers they had a big day on Friday. So they showed up at the Pot Still quite happy. And as I was explaining to people, because everyone was being very cautious and trying to have everybody else's back about over imbibing and overindulging. And it's like Southern women do not get drunk. We get adorable. I know I've talked about that all the time on here, about being adorable. But when you get precious, it's time to go home. Nobody got precious. There might have been a couple people, but they were okay. But yeah, it was you don't want to be too precious, that's for sure. But yeah, packed. This guy, that guy, he was constant movement. How about this guy over here in the beard? Jim Ingram from Whiskey Novice, right? And this is Rob from the Dram Face. This is my new buddy, Marcus, who's an absolute sweetheart, who is attending university to be a distiller. And then Saturday, the big day, their football stadium, going to Hempstead, and wow, 2 sessions. We were in the morning session, massive humanity. Here are just a couple of the bottles that we ran through. So SMWS was one of their main sponsors, and Graham and I hit that one first. Graham even went into the super fancy room and had some 30-year-olds. I had too many other things I wanted to cover. So yeah, this one was which one was this? The 44, 172. Trying to remember which one. Somebody can look it up. Then Thompson Brothers. This was one of the Dornoch Castle, Dornoch Distillery cask, single cask. I think this was 34, maybe. I have a better picture of it. But, anytime you can have a dram poured by the guy who made it is a really cool thing. These are the Ardent American guys. I don't know why DJ is blurred out. I can fix it on my phone. But Ardent American was there shining with the Delphi, of course. And again, smiling faces. That was the whole deal. The tart was this, Fat Burger Head. This was a Boona. Whew. Man, this Boona was unbelievable. Yes, thank you, Martin. That other SMWS was a Craig Alecky, which I had never had SMWS Craig Alecky before, so that's why I wanted that one. Kyle, does Marcus give Springbank tours at Springbank? You have seen him. He absolutely does. That's how Roy found him and met him there. But yes, he absolutely does. And he's going to Harriet is it Harriet Hyde it's a university there to learn distilling. And Hollywood's doing a lot with him. It's in Edinburgh. He's actually Danish. Absolutely delightful guy. Super excited about staying in touch with him. That's the thing. Like all these different people you met, I know I'm going to stay in touch with them, right? Old malt company, independent bottling of Talisker 11 that just blew me away. This one was salty, malty. It was, to me, it was that kind of older version of a, I don't know, an older version of Talisker Campfire, but yes, Harriet what? Thank you. Harriet what? That is the university he's going to. Thank you, Andrew. But yeah, the Talisker was salty malty with Campfire. Just like the 10 on cast strength, if you would, but even better. A Murray McDavid Glenlawsie. First had Glenlawsie this summer, and this one just was so rich. It's just yum. And it's hard, y'all. I mean, you're like, I did not have a lot of drams. And I mean, they were small taste pours, right? Enough to where, a sip or two and you're done, as it should be, because it's the only way with the amount of whiskey that was on presentation there. That is the only way to do it and stay, you know, responsible about it. But I was talking to people so much that I didn't drink a lot of what scads and scads. I think I probably had 10 to 12 samples actually is all I was able to have. But that was okay because I got a lot of information about other things that I wanted to. Whiskey Sisters podcast. Jen and Ika. Oh my God. I was so glad to see them. These are the things that were awesome about being able to do this festival, being able to try. This was at Glasgow Distillery that they are right next to. It was an English distillery called Wireworks. Put that down somewhere and look for it, because I'm going to tell you, they're doing some really cool stuff. An Aaron 17. Unreal, an Aaron 17. I saw a video that you sent me yourself after your first whiskey festival, and you were more than adorable and approaching very precious. Let me just say that. You were very delightful. You're always delightful, but you were probably extra that day. This is on the bus after the festival, on the way to Akbar's. 2 bus loads. We had over 100 people go to a restaurant for curry. And the guy next to me, Daniel, the student, says, "You want some 21-year-old Aaron?" I'm like, "Sure, honey. I'll be glad to have some of that. Here's my glass." Yeah, just crazy, crazy. So, okay. Now, see, this is why I love this, because I look at Wireworks and I go with it. And Andrew's able to say White Peak is actually the distillery. Wirework is the brand. Thank you for that. Because I was going so fast and snipping pictures. And again, I haven't been home 24 hours, y'all. I have not even been home 20 hours at this point. Okay, let's see what else was in here. So after Akbar's, after we feed mass quantities of people, we all make our way around the corner to the Bon Accord. And again, more fun. All of these guys you've seen on Barflies from here to here, Jeff Whiskey, Rob from Dram Face, just everybody just everybody, less Graham. Just a fantastic time. I had to call it, I think, about 10:30, because any more and I would have been precious. And I needed to get back where I was supposed to. So before we get into this, I want to see back over adorable Adorable is the word I was searching for. Yeah, I got you, boo. I got you. Yes, there was a couple of Berclates, I think. Yeah, there was some really cool stuff. Not gonna lie. Um, I saw this, Graham, and kind of cried. So Monday night, while I was flying back, you all had got together and did very cool stories and sips. That sounds awesome. Um, mm, mm, mm. Did they have nibbles? They did not really have much food. Had lots of water. Definitely. Um, yeah, but they didn't have a lot to eat. Um, at the festival itself. It was 3 hours. The whole idea is you power food before you get there. So the gang, a bunch of us met and had a big breakfast and then made our way to the stadium, queued in line in between hugs and, hey, you, I know you, I know you, I know you, and lots of pictures. And then went in for our session for sure. Then on Sunday, again, it was more, even more. So Bon Accord that night, Saturday, Sunday, went in, and I was honored to be a table captain for the aquavitae blind challenge. I believe we had 65 participants, and it was at a private room at a casino in Glasgow. And we set up, there was 5 different offerings, and it was your typical barfly aquavitae, when he does a blind challenge where you rank them on which you like the best, and then you figure out, once you've done that, you figure out the different questions and which one was a vintage, or I would say an older Isla, which was a non-whiskey, a non-scotch rather, which one was a Speyside peated, which one was a Highland peated, and which one, what was the other one? Was, I'm trying to remember what the other question was. I have my notes somewhere. So this was my team. We were the Gators, and this is Tom from Whiskey and Wine Trails, my friend Robert. This was Philip, and this was Craig. And you've heard about Sevi. That was Sevi and his team. They ended up winning. But yeah, so we had to go through that. It was quite scary and fabulous all at the same time. It really was. But this gives you an idea of all of us at the end. Just so much fun, and it was really hard to leave. After this was over, people had a bottle share. They were, just wanting to share more whiskey and more stories and more time with everybody. And I had already booked to see Louis Tomlinson at the Hydro, which was spectacular. So I continued my 2023 year of the boy band concerts between Harry Styles this summer and Louis Tomlinson. Fabulous. And just cannot thank everybody enough. If you're ever in a position to be able to do this, it could very well be just, the once in a lifetime kind of thing to do. I haven't been to a ton of whiskey festivals because most of them here in the States are very bourbon centric. And so while I enjoy it from time to time, it's not really my thing, to where I know if I go there, I'm going to have quite a few selections of Scotch and feel good about it. That it just really, even companies like Beam Suntory or Brown Forman, or either companies that rep both types of whiskeys, they just don't bring those out for most of the festivals here in the States. There's one, and actually in Lake Charles, that had before, but it's pretty thin. So to have exposure to this type of whiskey festival was really pretty cool to be able to see as many people as I got to see, people that I met this summer that were also there, like Robert, Carlos, new people like Marcus, and Jamie, and Chris, and all these other people that I got to meet. Gigi, golly, just so many other Americans too that we've all kind of collected on Barflies or been on the channel, have popped in here. Just being able to see them there was just, um, just really awesome. Um, yeah, and Sevi was really proud of it, but he was wearing a shirt with Scott Monroe on it. Scott wasn't able to attend. That's the Kilted Moose on Instagram for those who may not know, and he's all over Durham Face, of course. But um, it was his mother's birthday, so he wasn't able to do the wine challenge, but he was there for the festival, of course. But Sevi was very happy with his win for sure, and he will talk about it to the end of the world. Yeah, the group shot was awesome. All of it was unbelievable. Perfect perfect explanation for a 3-hour event. It turned into a 3-day weekend. That's exactly what it was. It was a 3-day event. And if I'm coming all the way over for a 3-day event, I'm going to be there to do some other things. And I was very thankful to be able to do that. Again, Graham, you hosting me all over, taking great care. That's really, really appreciated. All of that for sure. But yeah, so that's a really quick. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. My voice is going out. But those are the bottles. That's the time I had. And y'all, it just when I had to leave Saturday from the blind, it was very emotional. And then I was just mad at myself because I'm like getting all teary because I'm always one of those that goes, "Don't be sad. It's over. Be happy it happened." And I really am happy it happened. But those people are just so genuine and great. And it was the energy you get from that, is something I hope I'm explaining well enough to where y'all can can understand, a little bit of sadness from leaving it. But it's also the energy that I want to put into the channel and to show folks that maybe not ever get over there. Or if they do, they can say, okay, this is what I want to go to do and figure out a way to get there. Um, the whiskey is fabulous. These 6 bottles are going to be so enjoyable to go through at some point. But all of the people, all the smiley, shiny faces that you saw, that's what made the trip. That's what made the trip. If I was just going to go over there to taste whiskey, I'd have it shipped here. I wouldn't have to go over there, you know? And meeting the other YouTubers, meeting the other content people, um, just genuinely people who I have never met that came up and said, the Bayou is here or Scotch is here. And I'm like, Scotch is all over the place. But, being able to say, oh, that person from the Bayou that Roy has on his show, that person, yeah, that's me. I'm here. And it was just delightful. And I can't thank everybody enough for all the encouragement and being able to enjoy it. But yeah, just going back on this is the shot, it really is. Everybody having fun, all the smiling faces. Um, it just was amazing. I will tell you who else is in here, which was a little humbling, and that was Michael Henry from Loch Lomond, who asked Roy to make sure that they were still doing the blind challenge because he wanted to do the blind challenge. The man who makes Loch Lomond was there, just as a guy. Those are the type of people who are making your really good whiskey, folks. Um, the Callum Rays to sit down from somebody from Louisiana and does a 45-minute interview about the geekiness of Mad Hatter craziness of all the types of barley and yeast that they're using at Holyrood. R&B Distillers, Rice. I'm not going to be here late, but come by and learn more about what we're doing. Those are the people who are making your really good whiskey. I'm telling you. And yeah, just really awesome. Um, yeah, lots and lots of hugs. So many hugs. Um, it was wonderful. It was tough leaving you, Graham, tough leaving Roy and all the groups. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. We're well over 15, 20 minutes over. Um, but we'll be back next week. Got a special guest, need to reconfirm with him. He has been a world traveler lately, but I'm pretty sure we still got it. Uh the Grail girls, yes, we did. Let me throw that picture up real quick. Um, and here we are. There we are, Gregor. We Graham and I went to Calendar and met Jen and Rachel, and they are a mess and a half, and I mean that in the very best way. Mm. Yep. And then ended up seeing Rachel at the Bonaccord after the festival. So it was wonderful. But y'all, we'll see you again next week. I'm gonna decompress a little bit, try to get some sleep. And I'll be putting together some more social stuff and posting more pictures. And then really looking forward to getting some content, more about the festival, more about the places I went, who I got to speak to. And as always, subscribe, tell your friends about this. We're chill, everybody's welcome. Thank you all, Camp Drammers. I'll get that unboxing, unpacking video out on the members channel for y'all. And until next week, I will see you. Slàinté, y'all.